Hello, hello, my beautiful candy canes. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a lovely, fun weekend. I know that I did. So as you come in, everybody, welcome to the candy shop, my candy canes. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. So for you guys who might be joining for the very first time, I'm your girl, Candy Washington, just telling you my favorite thoughts and perspective on reality shows, reality TV, pop culture, what's trending, and all of those great things. And always join us for a self-care session. We also talk about wellness and health and all of those great things as well. But before we dive into today's recap, which will be The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 3. And then we'll talk about, or before that even, because I want you guys to tell me in the chat, what do you want us to talk about first? Do you want us to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta first, or do you want me to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac? I'm not Atlanta. Love and Marriage Huntsville first, or Real Housewives of Potomac first. So I'm going to let you guys decide up here in the chats. And as you guys come in, let me give you guys some shout outs. Hey, Sasha T, my beautiful girl. Shout out to my mods. I love you guys. Lynette, Kit, and Scott, thank you so much, sweetheart. Selma Wade, thank you so much for being a mod. Hey, can I get a witness? Yes, yes. Says, hey, Candy Cane of the Candy Canes. Hey, Jay Mesa. Hey, Jaja. Sasha T is also a mod. She is saying Rohop. Beautiful Jaja saying Huntsville. Takia Warren is saying Rohop. Silma is saying Rohop. Hey, Darren Hood. He goes, hey, Candy Canes. Happy Monday. Yes. Lynette is saying Rohop. Hey, Young Rich. What is up? He goes, hey, girl, I can't do Letitia or Martell. Woo, child. We are going to get into it. I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. And it seems like everyone is saying Rohop first. Okay. So we will jump into Rohop, and then we will go into Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay. So when it comes to Rohop, let's see, you guys. First thing, can we talk about Miss Wendy Osefo, right? Miss Wendy Osefo. She's still trying to be our old girl Monique with this home essentials line that nobody asked for, nobody wants. She literally said she wanted to be the Black Martha Stewart. Karen looked like she had lost her damn mind when she said that to her. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, I can help you with this. That, sure, why not? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then did you guys notice how Wendy sort of acted like a little kid with Karen with the candle? She was like, oh, like, do you have a business plan? She goes, well, I wrote a paragraph for it. Isn't a paragraph enough for a business plan? And then she was like, okay, well, who knows about your candle line, and why would someone get it, like, but purchase your candle line over somebody else's? And she's like, I don't know. Like, well, that's what I'm scared of. Like, it was bizarre. Like, what happened to 4 degrees? I'm a professor at this school that I say 20 times a day. I am some, high profile political commentator, all of these things, to now she's kind of like cowering in the corner, doesn't know what a business plan looks like, and is like having a nervous breakdown because Karen was just like, well, why would someone purchase your candle over somebody else's? Like, her behavior to me was just bizarre. And I'm going to co-sign what I believe it was Mia, because Wendy and Mia are beefing. And I have some thoughts on that. So I agree with Mia when she was just like, Wendy is just really insecure. And also, Wendy to me just seems like lost. She seems like a really lost person. Like, she doesn't really know like who she is on at her core. And so she's kind of been trying to figure out who she is by trying to like be like other people and accepted by other people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she had this whole like 4 degrees. She had this whole like, I'm, DMV socialite that really wasn't true. Karen really exposed that. She tried to be a green-eyed bandit. That turned out so well for her. She's really controlling with Eddie. I think the reason why she has such a big beef with Mia is because that's probably Eddie's type. And I think that Mia is trying to conform herself to be more like Eddie's type. And that's why I think she's so threatened by Mia. And also when they did their whole couples game thing, like the newlywed game, I didn't buy for a minute that they both, she was like feeding him answers like, you better not say anyone. And he was like, oh, I'm not attracted to anybody. Yeah, right. You know, you would hit Mia if you could. So that was just bizarre to me. So the Wendy whole situation to me is super, super bizarre. Switching over to Mia, I like Mia, but again, I think that we have yet to peel back her true layers of like who Mia really is. I still think she's coming on a little bit too hot. I still think that she's coming on a little bit as a persona, and I do think that there's something fishy going on with her marriage. I don't think it's all sunshine and rainbows. Just like the way he treats her, the way he talks to her, there is something going on in the background that is just off. Like, I don't know if it's like infidelity. I don't know if it's just like just fighting or power dynamics are shifting now that she's more in the spotlight. She's making more money. You know, she's overseeing the businesses. Like, I'm not really sure what it is, but there's something just off with them. Like, I'm waiting for some bombshell to hit about Mia and her husband, right? Candice, I forgot Candice was on the show anymore. Like, I'm kind of looking forward to whatever this salad gate is when Mia throws the salad on Candice, because Candice has been a central part of this franchise for a long time. You know, last year was all about her fight with Monique. Am I the only one that forgets Candice is even on the show? Like, when she comes on screen with her, like, her bonus kids who, no offense to children, you know, I never talk about adult children themselves, but with the like PR stunt children there, and then, you know, resentful Chris who is swallowing every mean thing he wants to say to her and just squinting through his eyes and giving himself an ulcer. I forget Candice is even on the show. Like, what does Candice bring to the show this season? And then she could not even have an adult conversation with Karen to like clear everything up, because Karen was just like, I don't have any regrets. Like, I did what I did. I said what I said, and I do it again. Like, 2 of my friends got into a fight. I refuse to take a side. You both were wrong, and it is what it is. And Candice still could not understand that. And she still was just like, no, I still want you to take a side. I still want you to say you're sorry. And she was like, I was in receiving mode to receive all of these apologies from Karen. It's just like, girl, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? You should be in giving mode. You should be like, I'm sorry I was acting like a child. And I didn't have the emotional capacity to know that you could be my friend and still her friend at the same time. Like, what did you think Karen was going to do when she got to your house, Candice? Like, bow down and give you like kisses and cuddles and hugs? And I'm super confused, Candice, as to what you're going after. And I also think Candice is not stupid. I think she's very, very slick. And I think that she uses her mother as her mouthpiece to say things about people and her husband that she does not want to say herself. Did you guys notice when she was on the phone with her mom? Well, first, did you notice that Candice was the one who brought her mom up in conversation first with her and Chris, and with all like the booze and everything? And she was like, oh, well, like if my mom was here, she would be like, whoa, you guys need to slow down or stop or whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's like, Candice, is that what you think you and Chris need to do when it comes to drinking? Or at least that's what you think Chris needs to do when it comes to drinking. But you're too afraid to say that's what you think. So you say, oh, my mom would say this. Because you really got to watch how people communicate. To me, I think it was really Candice's way of her saying to Chris, you might need to curb the drinking. You might need to curb the booze. But she didn't want to come out and say it herself. So she said, well, my mom would say this. And then she did the same slick thing when she was on the phone with her mom, when she was talking about Chris managing her. She talked out of both sides of her mouth. She pretty much set it up for her mom to say, oh, Chris managing you when like you are his sole source of income and he has to like oversee everything that you're doing. Oh, are you sure he's not like using you and trying to control your life and blah, 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 blah. So then she could be like, oh, Mom, don't say that. Don't say that he's trying to control my life and I'm his only source of income and he's managing me now and that could be really tense or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Candice girl, you're saying what you want to say through your mother, because you guys have this very weird, codependent, narcissistic, empathic relationship going on. So you're basically saying the things that you really think, but you're saying it through your mother, so you don't have to take accountability for what you're thinking and feeling. Because you literally only called her to have that 20-second conversation saying that Chris was using you, trying to control your life, and you were his only source of income. That was the only reason for that conversation. And then you got in the confessional being like, and then you repeated it in the confessional and still tried to act like it wasn't what you were thinking, and tried to act like it was her mom. Like, oh, mom, like, stay out of my life. But like, repeat that again. I'm on to you, Candice. I'm on to you. I am on to you. That is why there is so much resentment built up between you and Chris, because clearly what you think is that he's trying to control your life. He's using you for some type of money or come up, and you are his sole source of income, and that he needs to drink less. A shout out to Monique and her Binder Time stories, but wasn't in her Binder Time story she was alleging that Candice was the one who hit her up and was like, yo, does Chris, like Monique's Chris, have any like NFL, NBA playa friends or whatever when she was with her Chris? So I don't know. It might just be adding up to that, because to me, it really looks like Candice feels sort of like Chris's meal ticket, but she doesn't want to say that about her marriage and her husband, so she's using her mother as a scapegoat to say it. But I want to see more. Like, I'm not a Candice fan, but like, if you're going to be on the show, I want to see more. Same goes for Ashley, right? Like, Ashley's pregnant. She was pregnant last season too. Like, I don't like, but I will say this. Ashley is still really good at carrying a bone. She is a good bone collector, because she went straight to Giselle and was like, oh, like you and Robyn, you know, you weren't at Karen's, what was it, her love lunch or whatever it was. She's like, oh yeah, you weren't there, but let me tell you what Mia said. So Mia said behind your back that after she found out that you wish death upon somebody's husband, that, oh, well, she must really not be a good person. She must just be a face or whatever. Ashley, why did you have to go and carry that bone back? Are you jealous of Mia too? I do think Ashley is low-key jealous of Mia too. And let me tell you why. So she goes back and carries that idiotic bone back. Like, who cares that she said that? Not a big deal at all. Not a big deal at all. So, but she goes and carries that bone back, right? And then you know what she also said? She called Mia a porn star. Allegedly. That's what Ashley said. I'm sorry. It's a leap. It is a leap for someone to say, and I'm saying Mia, oh, I got reconstructive surgery on my lady area. You know, first she did kind of blame it on her pregnancy, but then she kind of said her and her husband had a lot of, you know, sex or whatever, and she wanted to make it pretty. And that she met her husband at the strip club, to calling someone a porn star. Like, girl. That is a big accusation, and that is a very, very big thing to say. You know, being, you know, a cute girl at the bar or really dressed up and nice, or maybe at the strip club, versus having sex on tape for money. That is a big accusation, Ashley. Like, you really need to calm down and pump the brakes. That is a very, very big thing to put out there on someone. And I wonder if somehow that comment will lead on to Candice and Mia getting into their salad fight. I know it doesn't make like linear sense, but you know how it's always like this person said this person and now it's that person coming back to that person. I wonder if it's something to do with that leads up to that. I don't know. Maybe not. But I thought Ashley calling Mia a porn star was a very low, disgusting blow. Like, damn, Ashley. Like, I know that you and your husband are no longer having sex. You made that very clear. But you don't have to go around calling another woman a porn star. Like, that takes it to a totally different light shade, kiki area. Like, Ashley, you need to pump your brakes all the way through. And also, allegedly, I didn't read everything. I just have the headlines. I just want to touch on it. Allegedly, Ashley's husband, Michael Darby, has been caught cheating again. Allegedly. I got to do a deeper dive into it. But again, even with that, it's like Ashley's story is the same story. You're pregnant, you're a bone carrier, and your husband is cheating on you. None of that has changed in the last 3 seasons. So Ashley, next season, we're going to need you not to be pregnant. We're going to need something other than Michael cheating, because at this point, Michael cheating is a given. You basically said yourself, you don't care if he cheats anymore. Just let you know about it and don't get caught publicly. That's basically what I deduced Ashley was saying on the last couple of episodes. She was like, well, last time I was pregnant, he cheated and I got embarrassed and cut out here. This time we're doing it differently. So basically, I think she's like, go do you. You can go cheat. You can do what you want. Just let me know about it and don't get cut out here in the streets. But apparently he's being cut out here in the streets. So that's up with Ashley. Giselle, another one with no real storyline anymore. Like, what is going on in Giselle's world other than coming for Karen? And did you guys notice that Giselle has been trying to systematically ice Karen out? Because you know how Andy says, well, if no one wants to film with you, we have no choice but to let you go if no one will film with you. So it has been very clear that Robyn, unsuccessfully, by the way, has been really trying to ice Karen out. Like, she didn't go to Karen's lunch. She didn't want to invite Karen to Ashley's, like, mom to be pamper session. And thankfully, Ashley, in that moment, had her own mind. It was just like, no, I want Karen to be there. Like, what are you talking about? So she tried to do that. So it was at least the second time. And then the third time was when, and we'll see how this plays out next week, but when she said to Mia, like, oh, I want you to come to lunch. I want to, with me and Robyn, but without Karen. Like, why did you have to put in the without Karen part? Like, you're telling on yourself, Giselle. You're telling on yourself. You're trying to systematically ice her out because you're a mean girl. And I don't believe that Mia falls for it. And it was just really weird because Giselle, if you're listening, Giselle, the next time you want to ice someone out, you don't actually be so transparent about it. You just say, hey, Mia, like Robyn and I are going to go do a girls' lunch. We thought it would be great for you to come along. Like, let me know if you can make it. And that's it. And then just don't invite Karen. But to say, but without Karen, you're stirring the pot. You're being very transparent and obvious. And now you're making her pick sides. Mia, to her credit, was very diplomatic. I think she had Karen's back. I think she was loyal to Karen, but I also think that she was being open and fair and wanting to get to know the other girls. She wasn't just saying, oh, Karen's the one who brought me in. I'm just going to ride for her blindly. I think she did it very respectfully. She asked for their numbers. She even gave Giselle a compliment, but she never threw Karen under the bus. She never chimed in on making fun of Karen or anything like that. So I think Mia was actually doing a really good job of being diplomatic. But the moment you said to her, Robyn and I want to get to know you, come to lunch without Karen, that was the moment you asked her to pick a side. Because she either goes to lunch with you and Robyn without Karen and not saying anything to Karen about it, or she says to you, wow, that's really weird that you are vocalizing that you are trying to isolate my friends. I think I might pass this time. Or she does the ultimate Real Housewives okie doke and she agrees and then she shows up with Karen anyway. So Giselle, you, by saying that, you have now put what is it called? A line in the sand, right? Now there is a line in the sand and you're making Mia pick a side. So Giselle, you did this. And remember that you did this, Giselle, when it's your funeral and you're standing by yourself and no one's on your side, because that's what I foresee happening. You still might have Robyn, but that's pretty much it. Maybe a Candice. Maybe. So let's see here. What else is going on? What do you guys think about the new friend of? What's her name? Escala? Scala. She's Ethiopian and she is beautiful, right? So far, I think I'll probably like her. She seems really unproblematic. She seemed pretty cool. Like I don't know. She came in as a friend of Robyn's because apparently Robyn's like embellished hat line is doing amazing and great and all of these great things. And she had this like warehouse or whatever. So we'll see about that. But I kind of like the Scala. She wanted to like pray for the baby and pray for Ashley. She just seemed really non-problematic to me. So let's see what else is going on. Karen had her whole wig line Zoom party with Ray. That was good. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. I miss you guys. I'll be able to have you guys up soon when I get the new service. Darren Hood says she's my fave. Yes. Hey, Selma Wade. She goes, Escala is Robyn's replacement. Oh, damn. I mean, to usher in your own replacement, that is pretty harsh. So Young Rich says, I like Escala. She reminds me of a baby Candice. Yeah. Lynette Kitten Scott goes, she was concerned for Ashley. I like that. Sorry, guys. Me too. I like that too. I like that she was genuinely concerned for Ashley. And did you guys also catch the energy where it was very clear that I think that they're all kind of sick of Giselle? Like when Giselle left, it was kind of a collective like sigh of relief. And it was a collective like, okay, like the bad energy, the bad juju is now gone. Let's just like enjoy ourselves. And no one is taking Giselle seriously at all. Like she's kind of like a joke now. Have you guys noticed that? She's kind of like, where I feel like in the seasons past, it was very much like bow down to Giselle and she was like the queen bee and all this stuff. But I feel now like no one takes her seriously. And it's like we've all kind of caught on to her BS. You see what I'm saying? That's the other thing I wanted to say. So Robyn and Juan and the boys, that was so sad to watch. Stop showing that. Because she is clearly struggling with like even getting up and like getting the kids ready and then Juan calling her lazy and her making excuses. And she's clearly struggling mentally and emotionally during the pandemic and everything else. That is just really, really hard to watch. And then it was also hard to watch the children sort of be caught in the middle of that, right? To be a child and to see your mom debilitated to a greater or lesser degree, and then to have your dad dismiss and invalidate her. That must be really tough for the kids. So those scenes to me were really hard to watch because it wasn't just someone who was just like sleeping in and la 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 or whatever. Or like I don't think Robyn's being lazy. I think Robyn is struggling. And so that is what has been really, really hard to watch. Okay, let's see here. Hey, Saucer T, but she was also messy asking Karen about her drinking. She was messy, but Robyn was the one who brought it up, right? So didn't Robyn say when they were in the warehouse, wasn't Robyn like, oh yeah, and like Karen drinks a lot or she drinks too much or something like that. And then Escala was just like, oh, does she? I mean, I would ask the same thing. And plus, I don't think that Escala is that close to Karen yet. So I think she's coming on as Robyn and Robyn's like, oh, she kind of drinks so much. You're kind of like, well, what's the backstory there? Like, what's up with that? And I thought it was weird that they were throwing Karen under the bus for like her drinking and all that stuff. Well, actually, no, I guess it's not weird because they've brought that up multiple times. And remember how she kind of stopped drinking around the girls because she had like let too much of her information out when she was drunk and she didn't want it to come back and like haunt her when she was sober. And then Ashley Shady Boots was just like, oh yeah, I do think Karen's partying, but it's a party of one. And I was just like, Ashley, shut up. Like, yeah, just shut up, Ashley. So let's see what you guys are saying. Hey, Jayla. She goes, after watching the preview for the next episode, looks like Nia is going to end up bringing Karen to the lunch. Oh, yes. I hope she does because that is the move. That is the move to make. So yes, Jayla, I hope you're right because I think that's the ultimate housewife move. That is the move to make. Hey, Yolanda Franklin. She goes, Robyn needs to go. Foxy Counselor says that was her mom's business. You talking about that was Robyn's mom's business? Yeah, I caught that too. Let's see what you guys are saying up in here. Hey, tonight, Hazel. She goes, agreed. Hey, LaFan. She's like, I'm gonna keep asking, why are they building a house? I don't know. I guess for more space. I don't know why people create projects for themselves. Just buy a house that's already built. Come on. Especially when you're not super balling like that. Like if you already had your dream house and you were in the dream house and you were balling and you were happy and things was cool and copacetic and you just had extra money all over the place, extra time all over the place, and as a passion project, you wanted to build another house, go ahead, knock yourself out. But when you're already struggling financially, when your relationship, because they're not married again yet, is struggling, why put that extra burden on yourself to build a house? Houses already come made. Buy a house already built. Like, I don't get it. I'm with you on that. Hey, Sasha T. She goes, I want to know why they aren't feeding those children before class. I know I won't be able to focus. Yeah, it was just really sad. It was just, yeah, it was really sad. Hey, Lynette. She goes, Robyn's more than likely depressed. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like we're not gonna, we don't diagnose, but we can say our opinion, and that seems like her symptoms are of someone who is suffering, who is depressed in a greater or lesser degree. You guys, we have over 100 people watching right now, so hit that like button and subscribe. We are getting into it. Those likes should be up, 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 up. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Venetia Hope. She goes, yes, that was absolutely foul. Juan totally made me sad. Me too. Me too. Yolanda Franklin says, Robyn lost her mind with building a home with a man who don't want her. Yes, Robyn said Karen drinks a lot. That is so true. And that's why I'm saying, stop building the house. Stop. Let it go. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's see what you're saying. Pieces at Cardi B because it's true. Nigerians and Ethiopians don't beef. I'm not sure what conversation was. Let me go what you guys are saying. Hey, Joanne. She goes, yes, Robyn said it first. Yes, Robyn said it first. Hey, Cardi B. She goes, at P. It's not true at all. Okay, you guys. Let's see what you guys are saying isn't true. So Cardi B says, at P, are you even African or just spreading falsehoods? Do you know personally or have something against them? What is going on in the chatterization? I don't know what's going on, you guys. Let me know what's going on about Africans. I'm not sure. Hey, Venetia Hope. She goes, that house screams real Eugene and Toya-ish. I know. And then in a year, you're going to be like, I need to just flip the house for $1 million because everybody else is doing it. Even though this is my dream house, I spent all my money on it, and I got out a personal loan for a pool. We're going to flip it. We're going to flip it. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Stoppity, stop, stop. Hey, B. She goes, Juan is not being shown as a loving partner. Robyn needs to evaluate why she stays with someone who can't show her love. I know. I agree 100%. 100%. And it can't be for the kids because clearly the kids are suffering, as we see on the show. Hey, Foxy Counselor. If she's really was just struggling, then okay, absolutely understand. However, I don't buy it. There's a whole camera crew in her bedroom, and her and Juan have mics on. There's a lighting set up. Yeah, but you can be struggling, depressed, sad, have an addiction, and be on a reality TV show. I mean, we've all seen that. We've all seen people people on reality TV shows have committed the S word. What's her name? Taylor's husband from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He committed the S word. Kim Richards was struggling with her sobriety on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You can be on a reality show, have a camera crew come in, and still be struggling with something. So I don't think that just because you're on TV makes you exempt from struggling with things that go on in your life. You see what I'm saying? Pastor D says, please be respectful in the chat. Yes, respectful of all people. Hey, Lafina. She goes, schools give them more time to switch classes. She gave them boys 3 minutes to get up, brush their teeth, and sit in front of the computer. Why would she agree to this storyline? Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think that she is really struggling. I think she's doing the best that she can do, but she's struggling. I think she's buggling. Hey, Cotty V. Hey, beautiful. She goes, at Candy P is spreading rumors that West and East Africans don't like each other. Ugh. All right, well, let's address that. We're not going to pit any one culture against another culture. Like, we're just not going to do it, guys. You can be Nigerian, you can be Ethiopian, you can be whatever. We're not going to say that groups of people don't like each other in that sense. We can talk about individuals. You could say, does Wendy like Askala? Does Askala like Wendy? But we're not going to say that Wendy represents all Nigerians, and we're not going to say that Askala represents all Ethiopians, because that just isn't true and isn't fair. So thank you for saying that, Cotty B. And P, I love you in here, P. I don't think you probably didn't mean it that way. So we'll just keep it moving. Hey, Angie goes, hi, Candy. Love watching you this far. Thank you, darling. Thank you for being here. Hey, Young Rich goes, skinny. Hey, Young Rich, she goes, loud. Who fighting in the chat? Let me bob and weave, honey. No, there is no fighting in the chat. We're just having a fun discussion. Hey, Latina, Robyn needs the check. That's probably why. Exactly. Sunny T is saying allegedly. That's right, you guys. Everything we talk about, it is just alleged. It is our opinion. It's just for fun kiki. Let's see what you guys are saying up in here. Oh, what do I think about Mia's foster story? Okay, so what I think about Mia's foster story is that my heart goes out to her. My heart goes out to any child, any person who grew up thinking that they didn't have a mother, or growing up without a mother or a father, and just feeling really abandoned and just not good enough, or not seen, or not validated, or that your mother or your father, who is supposed to be there to protect you and help you, isn't there. Like her saying that she was like on Christmas Eve was like sitting on a cold floor, like waiting for her mother to come. And when her mother didn't come, she realized that like she didn't have a mom like the other kids and all that stuff. That was just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. It was just really sad. And it kind of plays into that stereotype. And I am going to call it a stereotype of like women who, I don't want to say end up in, because some people just it's their choice, but like sort of end up in that like sort of escorty, strip clubby, gentleman's club type environment. Usually have some type of similar background story and things like that. So it kind of shed light onto her. And I'm happy that she's talking about it, because I think that there's a lot of people out there who maybe grew up in foster care, or they are in foster care, or they are in situations where they feel abandoned or neglected by their parents. And for them to see her, you know, be on TV and be so beautiful and successful and all these things, it's a good inspiration. So I'm happy that she's sharing her story. And I look forward to see what happens with her mom when her mom comes in and they have their talk and stuff. So yeah, that'll be good. And I'm also happy that she's being honest that like, even though she loves her mom, at this point, it's still a struggle for her to trust her mom. And it's a struggle for her to let her mom in her life in like a big, meaningful way. So I like Mia's storyline so far, to be perfectly honest. You know, she's this beautiful girl, used to work at a strip club, met this rich older man, and now she's running the 15, 14, 11, however many businesses they have. They have this blended family. She grew up in foster care. Her foster mom is coming on the scene. She's sort of in the middle of the fence of like, who is she going to go? Is she going to go with the Green Eyed Bandits, or is she going to keep rocking with Karen? Like, I kind of like what Mia is bringing to the show. I'm liking it. I'm here for it. More than what Candice and Ashley is bringing at this point. They just sort of have these recycled storylines. They're interesting enough, but I'm excited for Mia. A good new, fresh blood. Let's see what you guys are saying. Joanne says, we love each other, just chatting. That's right. That's right. We all love each other. Just love each other. That's right. Hey, Kamiko. She goes, hey, Candy, the Candy Canes. Hey, hey. P says the block function is useful. We don't need to engage. Okay. Oh, no. We are engaging in happy ways. You guys, it's Monday. We are kikiing and we're having fun. Hey, Sasha T. She goes, I'm curious to know whether her mom came around or not. And if she did, was it when she got successful or before? Yeah, hopefully we'll find that out. Hey, beautiful Joanna Morris. She goes, hey, Candy Cans. Hey. Venetia Hope says, yes, Mia's backstory is interesting and important to share. Exactly. I'm really excited to hear more about that too. Hey, Perfectly Flawed. Mia is interesting, and I think she's bringing something different. Exactly. Hey, Foxy Counselor. She goes, who's arguing? Nobody. We're just chatting it up. Hey, Joanne. She goes, Mia's a boss now. Yes, she is. 100%. Let's see here. La Fina says, I like Mia. She owns everything, and I'm here for it. I like her too. Hey, P. He says, Mia's looking for answers and accountability from her mother, but she probably will not get it. Sort of like Keisha Cole's mom, Frankie, rip. Yeah. That's another thing that's really tough about being a child of addiction. I'm not, thank God. So I'm not speaking from personal experience, but just from what I see from people, is that, alcohol or drugs really changes who that person is. So you may see someone and you're like, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my sister, that's my brother. But the drugs and the alcohol have sort of taken them over, where it's like they're not even that person anymore, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's really sad. Really, really sad. Okay, so Jaja is saying, what are you seeing in Mia and G's marriage? I see their chemistry. What do you see? Okay, so what I'm seeing, yes, I do think they have chemistry. But I'm sensing some underlying tension there. I don't know if it's a power struggle where, like, I'm kind of wondering, how much did he really want her to sort of have this new boss up life where she's managing the chiropractic practices, where she's like, has this new platform with the Real Housewives, and she's really bossing up and, kind of coming into her own. Because I had thought that she was a boss and she married another boss, but it turns out she was at the strip club and married him, and then now she's overseeing the practices that he had, which is totally fine. Totally fine. Don't get me wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm saying is it changes when power dynamics in couples change. I think that can be a difficult time for the relationship. I think that when the man has been used to being the one that's busy, being the one that's in charge, being the one overseeing the money, and then when that kind of gets reversed and now she's the one overseeing everything, she's the one that's busy, she's the one in charge, I think that it might be growing pains with that power dynamic shift. Because she said it herself. She was just like, oh, he used to run the business. Now he's more of a stay-at-home dad, which is where he wants to be. And now I'm the one taking over and managing the businesses. But every other scene with them is them sort of having a conversation of him being like, well, why don't you spend more time with the kids? Why aren't you more present? Why are you more engaged? Do you have to take that phone call? Why are you on the phone? Why do you have to do this? Why do you have to do that? And she's just like, well, when you were the one doing all of this, I held the family down. So you should understand I'm trying to juggle both the way I let you juggle both. So that to me is more what I see going on. Some type of friction with the dynamic switch. Maybe he didn't expect her to be less accessible or whatever the situation is, or for her to succeed, or for her to be as bossed up as she is. But that's what I'm kind of sensing, that sort of power dynamic struggle. Almost like he's like, well, I didn't marry a boss. I married a person who you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I see. I'm not saying they don't love each other. I'm not saying there isn't chemistry there, because I do think they love each other. I do think there's chemistry there, but I think there's this underlying new power struggle based upon their new dynamic. I think that's what I'm sensing. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Can I get a witness? Says, let's check back after you have seen her acting, okay? Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Joanne says, I think her husband likes what Mia does. She said he's happy being home. Yeah, he's happy being home, but then why all of the comments about her time management with the kids and all of that stuff. So you always have to watch not just what people say, but what do people do? Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I see, I do think that there is some underlying friction between the two of them. And I think it goes back to power dynamics. Because he could also like being home because he's worked so much, but that doesn't mean he likes her not being home. You see what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like, I don't know. Just like with the whole like cupcake thing with the kids, and maybe it's for cameras too. Like, who knows? Hey, can I get a witness? Cardi's laughing. Sausage says Candice needs to be careful of the husband managing her. He will sue her if they get divorced. White men are especially petty. They need a formal contract. I'm just saying there needs to be a contract no matter what. Husband or not, get everything in writing, notarized, black and white. Hey, Joanne, she goes, okay, I see your point. Hey, Pinky in the Brain ×3, my husband is a narcissist. No, not that, Pinky in the Brain. Not that, oh no. Hey, Diggy TV. He goes, I think it's just for the camera. They have to make it interesting. That could be very true as well. That could be very true as well. They could be playing this storyline up for the cameras. That is very true, 100%. Hey, Pinky in the Brain, he gets really evil. Oh no, I'm sorry, Pinky. Look, if you need help or if there's something going on, like, reach out, because you're right. Narcissists can be really scary and really evil. So like, if you need to talk, like, hit me up offline, okay? Hey, Venetia Hope, she goes, at Sasha, just like MJB husband did. Oh, yeah. Hey, Juanita. Yeah, she's sending us some love. Yes. Older men are very jealous. They want to keep a finger on you. Yes. Okay, so we can get back to Rohop in a bit. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if I missed anything, any big things. I think we covered all of the big stuff. But let's jump into Love and Marriage Huntsville. Since we've been on them for about 45 minutes, let's jump into Love and Marriage Huntsville because I got some thoughts. All right. I'll break it down by couples. Martell and Melody. I know they're divorced, but I'm still going to call them a couple. You guys, okay. Martell is like a walking wound. Just like a walking, narcissistic, childish, irritating wound. Like, it's insane. I'm going to start with him having literally a temper tantrum. Little pissy in his pants. When Melody's mom, Van, I love that name, Van. All she did was she was just like, okay. Or she was just, what did she say? She was just like, okay, like, you, like, enough. Or like, okay, like, whatever she said. She was just like, okay, like, not now, like, got it, or whatever. And you would have thought this woman had read this man for filth when all she did was just like, okay, like, stop, or like, not now, or like, keep it to yourself, whatever she said. I don't know what decade it was, but he got thrown back to whatever decade Talk to the Hand. 80s, 70s, 90s. I don't know what decade it was. Talk to the Hand was like such like a diss. Like, oh, you said talk to the hand. Oh, like he was in his 40-something-year-old wearing 2 sizes too small feelings because this beautiful grandmother to his children gave him the hand. I couldn't handle it. I was just like, Martell, is your ego literally that fragile that the grandmother to your children going like this made you almost have a nervous breakdown? He was like, kids, come on. Your grandma giving me a hand down here. Come on, kids. Your grandma's giving me the hand down here. Like, and again, you're also being so emotionally immature that you are literally trying to bring your children into the conversation you're having with their grandmother to talk bad about their grandmother and to pit them against her to get them on your side. Your narcissism is showing. Your wounding is showing. Your immaturity is showing. You're like one big walking wound. It's insane. Like, it's crazy. Like, you literally have a nervous breakdown because the grandmother to your children said, like, not now, or like, enough, or whatever she said, triggered him so much. I thought he was about to bust out. Well, you just in here disrespecting me. You just disrespecting me. I'm not taking that disrespect. Kids, come on. Grandma gave me the hand. She gave me the hand. Like, I was dying. It was insane. I could not handle it. But that was just one of the many immature, ridiculous thing that Martell did. This might be an unpopular opinion. I love Melody. Like, I am team Mel when it comes to this, and I really love her. But do you guys think a part of her enjoys how it is toxic, but do you think a part of her enjoys the sort of toxic back and forth tit for tat she has going on with Martell? I think a part of her really enjoys it. And I think it's a part of their relationship. Like, they seem to get a rise out of it. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why I really thought this was because last episode, when Martell and Melody's friend Chris from the 47 Acres came to Melody and was like, oh, well, the client wants to know, would you be interested in developing the 47-acre house thing that they're doing? And she was like, oh, well, did you talk to Martell? Because I know that he was really interested in this. Like, did you talk to him about it? And at first, I interpreted it the same way that Martell did. That Melody was, even though they were divorced, even though it's contentious, she was still showing some sort of understanding of like, well, like, did you talk to Martell about this? Like, does he know about this? Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'll look at it, but like, I want to make sure you run it by him first, blah, 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 blah. That's how I read it first too. But after this episode, I realized, oh no, Candy, you got the okie doke. Melody actually was asking that, and it comes out after their little co-parenting session because she wanted to make sure that Martell knew so it could like stick it to him. Because remember afterwards, he's like, well, I wanted to like thank you for, kind of having my back and being like, oh, Martell. And she was like, oh no. She was just like, I'm still like getting the specs and the price points. And like, I don't think Chris did anything wrong and blah, 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 blah. Like, she just wanted to make sure Martell knew because she knew that would like stick it to him and get a rise out of him. I think they both like it. I just think that when he actually had a child out of wedlock, to save face, she had to divorce him. But I also think that she also is ready to date and have a new life and all of that stuff and co-parent. So I think that both things kind of exist. I do think she's ready for her like Melody whole glow up, and she's ready to like take over the world and do this and do that, and all of her businesses and become Mel. But I also think a part of her still really likes the toxic back and forth with Martell. I think in their language, that's how they know that that the other person still cares about them. I think in their mind, as long as I can piss him off, as long as I can get a reaction out of her, then there's still a chance they still care. I think that's their weird, skewed, unhealthy love language that they have between each other. The whole social media back and forth, him posting subliminals with like the kids and then talking about his fifth child, her, calling him and cussing him out about posts and things like that. I think it's their weird, unhealthy, toxic ping pong back and forth that it's weird, but I think both of them enjoy it on some level. If that makes any sense. But I'm not saying that she still doesn't want to go out there and like, be Mel and sing and dance and have her stuff and everything like that. But I think a part of her still likes it. It's like this weird bondage tie that they have to each other. So that's going on with them. Oh, and I didn't think there was anything wrong with Chris going to Melody because, as it turns out, like Destiny said before, Melody was actually the brains behind Holt and Holt, which was clear during this episode. So it came out that Martell had tried to get his, it was like a building license, I think if they were calling it. I think it was like a building license 7 years ago, and he failed. Guess he never thought to try again. Melody has her business license, and her name was on all of the deeds for the 47 acres. So the client goes to Chris and says, well, if Martell can't build, Melody has the building license, her name's are on the deeds, go to her to build. Let's get this done. So she really was the brains behind it. At least she was smart enough to have her name on the deeds. She was smart enough to pass the test. And that's why Chris was studying for his license. He was like, I can't be waiting on the Holt to Holt. Let me get my license so I can just go ahead and do this myself, right? And then it also goes back to, remember when Martell was saying how he couldn't move forward with the 47 acres because of the divorce, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we know that was a lie. The reason why he couldn't move forward with the 47 acres was because without Melody, he didn't have a business license to move forward with. And that's why he couldn't move forward with the project. Because out of Holt and Holt, Melody was the one who legally could. So that right there shows you who was actually the smart one in the pants. But you know the world we live in, especially when it comes to certain industries, building, construction, real estate, blah, 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 blah. You want the pretty girl in the skirt next to the big bad man, the man who's the one who's going to make all the deals and figure it all out. And But the truth was, behind the scenes, she was the one handling all of the actual business and transactions and all of that stuff. And clearly he was just like the guy face for it, right? But now that his reputation is ruined, like who wants really him to be the face of anything? He's out here acting a damn fool, cheated on his wife, has another kid out of here. Nobody wants to do business with him anymore. And he doesn't even have a building license. How are you working in construction and real estate and all this stuff and you don't even have a building license? The only way you were able to do your projects was because Melody had her license. And that's why Chris now is going to get his. So Martell, your slip is showing, Martell. Your slip is showing. And also, this really irritated me with him. When he was talking about his old therapist, Dr. Francis, I think his name was, and he was like, oh, well, he was biased. He was biased. You know, he was just happy and he had this long marriage and, you know, he just couldn't relate. He couldn't relate. He was biased. No, Martell, he wasn't biased. He was a therapist and he was doing his job. His job was not to coddle you. His job wasn't to pretend that all men cheat just because you do. His job wasn't pretend that you get a pass for cheating on your wife with multiple women, for calling said woman a peasant, and then having a baby with the woman that you called a peasant while being married. And that you're as disrespectful as hell. That wasn't his job. And he wasn't being biased. He was being honest. And he was doing his job as a therapist. And that to me was just a very, it shows that Martell always has to be a victim and he doesn't understand how to take constructive feedback or criticism or any type of accountability for anything. It's always everybody else's fault. It's never his fault. He's always the victim. It wasn't the therapist's job to make you feel good about doing all of the crap in the dirt that you've done. The therapist was doing the therapist's job. He wasn't being biased. He was holding you accountable, and he was trying to give you the tools to be a better man. But you don't want to take responsibility for your own life, and you don't want to take those tools for your own life. So instead of saying, it was me, I messed up, you want to make yourself feel better and say, all men are dogs, all men cheat, all men can relate to being disrespectful and having babies on the side and cheating with all these women and blah, 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 blah. Like, how dare he actually be a healthy, respectful, faithful man? Miss me with that. I like that therapist. They need to bring him back for more. The co-parenting lady, and I don't want, okay, I liked her, but I will say this, and I don't know if it's editing that is doing this or what, but the work is starting to show I'm not sure if it's editing like accidental, but I noticed in this episode on 2 occasions, the foreshadowing was too easily placed together, like too coincidental, right? So Martell and Melody are talking about, well, Martell's like, oh, I didn't like the old therapist because he wasn't relatable. He was biased. He couldn't understand where I was coming from. He didn't give me any stories about, him being a dog and all this stuff. And then it just so happened that the new co-parenting therapist did that, gave up a very personal story, which completely just like mirrored exactly what he was saying. And then another time this happened was with Maurice and Kimmy. Okay, so let's move on to Maurice and Kimmy now that we're talking about this. Am I the only one that thinks that Maurice and Kimmy are practicing their lines? Like, don't get me wrong. I love Maurice and I love Kimmy. Love Kimmy a lot. But I'm kind of starting to see the work. Like, their whole conversation in his office to me sounded like they had gotten together. They were both very clear on what the other person was going to say and what their response was going to be. And it was sort of like they were like, and action. And then they did the scene and then it was like, end scene. Nothing about that felt authentic, real, organic, or anything like that. It seemed to me like they were literally just playing out a scene that they had prematurely put together, talking about the conversation that Kimmy had with Letitia. It just didn't seem real to me. It seemed like they had already pre-planned that whole scene out. And then also with Maurice, am I the only one that noticed Maurice talks like he is like a pastor in training? He's always just like, oh, well, you must put away childish things as boys become men. Oh, Lord, under the kingdom. Oh, really? Is that what happened? Like every time Maurice talks, I'm like, is he preaching? Is this a sermon? Like, am I in am I in the youth choir and like this is the pastor talking? Like, I'm so confused. Every time Maurice talks, he talks in platitudes, and he talks like he's a pastor. He's like, okay, Kiowa, we're going to do this with Monster, and then it's going to be summer camp and blah, 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 blah. Like, every time he talks, every time, Kimmy. Oh, okay. Like, it's just like he sounds like a pastor, like, every single time. And it just seems really, again, I love them, but it seems very rehearsed between the two of them and the conversations that they have with each other. And another reason why I peep this, too much of foreshadowing. Again, maybe it really just is a coincidence, but it just seemed too neat. That's the word I was looking for. It was too neat. Did you guys peep this? And also, Maurice is way too hard on kids. Again, I think it's kind of playing this part where it's like, kids need to work. Kids need to have a objective and goals. It's just like, calm down. What is the problem? Okay, so when Maurice pulled up and Monster was playing basketball, and he pulled up and he gets out and he made this weird comment like, oh, like you're outside playing? Like you're usually playing video games. And then he says, as they're walking into the house, he looks over at the lawn and he goes, oh, well, why don't you do something that's like productive or some crap like that and mow the lawn? If a kid wants to play outside instead of video games, that in and of itself is a win. Why are you scolding this boy? He's still a child. Like, even though you think he needs to put away childish things, why? Because he's like 13 or 14 and he just graduated from middle school? He's still a kid. He's supposed to be playing basketball. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He is a kid, Maurice. He's like 13 or 14. He didn't just graduate from military school at the age of 25. Like, he's supposed to be doing childish things because he's a child. Blows my mind. Anyway, like, to me, why weren't you just like, oh man, like, I'm proud of you. You're getting out here. You're getting exercise. You're getting some fresh air. Let me go home and let me go inside and change and let me shoot a round of hoops with you. Instead of being like, well, why don't you do something productive like mow the lawn? Maurice, you're such a cornball. You're such a cornball. But then when they get inside, and this is what I mean by it's too neat of a coincidence. Then when they get inside, Maurice, Monster, Kimmy, and then Kimmy's like, well, what are you going to do, Monster? Like, are you going to work for the summer? And then, Maurice is like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Monster's like, oh, I think I want to mow lawns. How convenient. Weren't you just talking about the lawn? Oh, I think I want to mow lawns. And I asked my mom to get me a lawnmower that I can sit on and blah, 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 blah. And then Kimmy, a little conveniently, just says, right on cue, oh, well, if you want to start with mowing lawns, look at the lawn in front of us. You could start with that one. Make it make sense. So literally, Maurice gets out. Monster's playing basketball. He makes some weird comment about the lawn. They go inside, continue the conversation, and out of the blue, Monster is like, I want to mow lawns for the summer. And then Kimmy comes in with a 1-2 to ching ching. Well, why don't you mow our lawn first? Like, it was too neat. It was just all too neat and too scripted and all put together. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just like my interpretation of it, but it just, and I guess because I had also noticed it with the Martell and Melody and the therapist thing, where he literally was like, well, I want a therapist who can relate and who's gone through it. And then literally the next scene is the therapist giving some personal example of exactly what they're going through. And then he'd be like, see, she's relatable, so I like her. It was just too neat. And then again, with like the Monster and the mowing the lawn thing, it was too neat. It just didn't make it just, I just don't see that happening in real life. Like that conversation just being like A, B, C, D, D, bing. Like it was too neat. It was too contrived. But let's get to Kiowa and Kimmy's beef, right? And how Kimmy was just like, I'm here too. Like, as the bonus mom, I want you to know that I'm here. And like, I hate it when Maurice acts like I'm not there when they're talking and all this stuff. I think when it comes to that, in Kiowa's defense, it's not really up to Kiowa to include Kimmy in those conversations because Kiowa isn't married to Kimmy. Kiowa is co-parenting with Maurice. And on those conversations, Kiowa has a husband, unbeknownst to us, because the way Maurice talks, how he was going to bring her down and get a whole house for her when she has a whole husband, that to me was bizarre AF. Like, I'm side-eyeing Kiowa's husband. Like, you were totally cool with your wife's ex, like financially supporting the two of you to move down and living in a house that he owns. Where'd they do that at? Like, what is up with Kiowa's husband? Like, I was floored when it came out that Kiowa was fully married. Clearly still in love with Maurice. Clearly still pissed as hell at Kimmy. And clearly, I don't even know what to say. Like, how are you okay with being married to a whole nother person and being like, yes, ex-husband, you can move down me and my whole man of a husband and we'll live in the house that you bought for us. What? Insane. But we don't ever see him. So it's not like bonus dad is that involved in the day-to-day their conversations. So I think and I also think that Kiowa is the type of person who, if Maurice says something or moves in a way that she doesn't like, she will use Monster as a bargaining chip. Like, I'm going to come down there and get my kid, or you're not going to get this time, or you're not going to get this. So I think that Maurice tries to walk on eggshells around Kiowa because I think he's like, I'd rather get my way than having to prove myself being right. So I think that's kind of why Maurice tiptoes around it. But I also think that it's disrespectful to be on a FaceTime with Monster and Kiowa and to pretend like Kimmy is not even there. I think the way you remedy this is just to have Kimmy not there, right? Schedule the time with Kiowa and Monster and you on your own time so that you and Kiowa can be in a good place to co-parent. You get on the same page when it comes to Monster. You then go to Kimmy relay the plan to Kimmy, make sure everything is cool and copacetic. Then Kiowa can go relay the plan to her husband, make sure everything is cool and copacetic. And that way you're not blurring the lines. People are, Kiowa and Kimmy aren't having this sort of like, arch for power, who's the number one woman now and things like that. And then you're not disrespecting Kimmy by having a whole conversation in front of her and acting like she doesn't exist. And then her having to it was really sad being like, oh, I'm here too. Like, it was just like begging to be seen, right? So I think you just don't do that in front of her. Because at the end of the day, Monster is Maurice's and Kiowa's child. And yes, Kimmy is helping out a lot. And hopefully her husband's helping out a lot. But at the end of the day, they need to have their co-parenting in a good place. And then it trickles out from there. But I don't think that having Kimmy insert herself in conversations is healthy. But I also don't think having conversations in front of her and ignoring her like she doesn't exist is healthy either. So I think that's kind of where that goes. So let's see what else. Marsau and Tisha. Tisha. She is another painful one to watch. She is very, very painful to watch. I just don't get. I don't get it. I don't get it. The whole conversation she had with Kimmy was weird and bizarre. Like, you don't have my back. We're supposed to be sisters. And I loved how Kimmy was just like, well, you didn't have my back when people were calling me a hoe and a homewrecker. Like, you're asking for all this blind loyalty, but like, where was that loyalty to me? And the truth is, Tisha was loyal to Kiowa. She wasn't loyal to her. So Kimmy was just like, what do you expect from me? Like, you expect me to be loyal to you blindly, but you don't have my back blindly. Like, you gotta give to get, basically. And then Kimmy was also basically just like, I'm not about to be out here lying on a show, putting my integrity on the line when we all have seen exactly what happened. Like, it's all on camera just to have your back. Basically, she's like, I'm not going to get up here and lie for you. And also, you didn't have my back when I needed you. I mean, Tisha, it's just a mess, an absolute mess. And then when her brother and her cousins or uncles or whoever they were was like checking Marsau, being like, oh, do you have a baby out here on her? I'm her brother and sister. And Marsau just doesn't give a care. He doesn't care. He's checked out. He is absolutely checked out. I think he is completely checked out. I think he just has everything going on at the house on autopilot. He allegedly is with or was with Melody's hairstylist. Allegedly. I think it's clear he was out there running the streets and dogging around, allegedly, with Martell. And I think he is just sort of like, he embodies, I don't give an F. He just looks at Tisha. He kind of like a smile, like, okay. Kind of phones it in. And then he just does whatever the hell he wants to do. That is what Marsau does. He appeases her. He'll chit chat with her. And then he's just doing whatever he wants to do. And that's just basically what it is. That's just basically what it is. And it's foreshadowed in the next episode when Tisha's talking to Melody. And he's like, oh, he has this new development or some building contract or whatever he's doing, right? So he's been so busy and all this stuff. When they're so busy, what are they so busy doing? Somebody else. So yeah, I think Marsau was just like, yeah, bided my time. How old are my kids? I don't know how old they are. I didn't know that they were allergic to peanut butter. But yeah, I'm just going to film this in for as long as I have to. And then I'm going to go out and do whatever I want to do. That's what that Marsau, he is just like, He smiles. Okay, girl. Okay, cool. Okay, bye. He doesn't care. He does not care. Okay, who else is in here? Oh, Tiffany. Okay, so Tiffany is Melody's new friend, right? So she came in. She was all like, oh, how are you doing mentally? Melody, how's your mental capacity. Are you okay? And then, so they had this whole like heart to heart about, like mental well-being and all that stuff, which is great. And Melody was like, oh, two birds, one stone. I also need interns. Tiffany does HR and she does business and all of these things. Yada 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 yada. We met a long time ago. I say all of that to say this. I am not messing with Tiffany. I don't like her. I'm gonna tell you why. She seemed fine during the show, but did you guys see the sneak preview for the next episode when she's sitting at the table and she said allegedly that Monster was vaping in a bathroom or a closet or something like that in front to all of the girls on camera and to Kimmy? That when she did that in that moment, I was like, girl, you're dead. Like, not you're dead to me personally, you guys, obviously, right? But I was like, girl, you messy. Girl, you messy, 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 messy. She first low-key came in and was shading the hell out of Melody. Oh, how's your mental health? Oh, I know. I'm just so happy. I know for my wedding, I was just like that. All of that chocolate is just mine forever. Like, she came across a little thirsty, but like low-key mean, nice, nasty, maybe. Like, you didn't, like, you almost had to check yourself and be like, wait a minute, is she being like really rude? Like, do you know what I mean? You almost had to be like, wait, am I tripping or is she tripping? But when she got at that table and said that about that child, I was just like, this hoe has to go. You have to go. You don't do that. You don't get up on national television with all of these cameras and speak that over a child. Allegedly, right? That has such big implications to say that a 13, 14-year-old black boy is in the bathroom or whatever she said, vaping, is such a dangerous thing to say. He was just talking about the prep school he wanted to go to, something academy, right? Just talking about, getting this, summer job and mowing lawns and all of these things, right? And you want to go on national television and put that out there on this boy? Whether it happened or not, he's a 13, 14-year-old kid. God forbid it didn't happen. Even if it did, I'm not saying it did, because I'm not putting that on any child. Whether or not it happened, and it probably didn't even happen because she wasn't even sure. She was like, Monster, right? Beeping in the bathroom. To say that over a little black boy, on over any child, but particularly a little black boy who was doing the right things. And even if he wasn't doing the right things, you don't get on national television and defame that child that way. That could have really life-altering implications for that boy. What if he gets kicked out of his prep school that he's trying to get into? What if he kicks off of, maybe he's on sports teams or something like that? What if he's on chess clubs or space clubs or whatever the kids are doing? And because you spoke that over him on national television, literally for no good reason, because you can't give me one single reason on God's green earth for you to come out your mouth and say that about this child on national television, could mess him up for a very long time. Because the fact that you now have said it, he's going to have to prove that he didn't do it. And proving your innocence is extremely difficult. That's why in our court of law, you don't have to prove your innocence. The prosecution has to prove your guilt. But when you come out here and you say that about this young black boy, now he is going to go out here and have to prove his innocence. to teachers, to coaches, to college admission boards, to camp counselors, or to whatever he's trying to do in his life. For you to go out here and say that is disgusting. And shame on you, OWN, for airing it. I know productions all like, we don't protect talent, blah, 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 but shame on you, OWN, for airing it. Shame on you. You didn't have to air this either. That's another thing. You didn't have to air this. I know that OWN is not owned by Bravo. I know Bravo's owned by NBC, and I know that OWN is owned by, I think, CBS or Nature Channel, whatever the hell it is, Oprah Winfrey, whatever the hell. The way Bravo protects, I hate every conversation is about race, but I'm just going to take it there. The way Bravo protects their white talent is the way OWN, I wish you would have protected your black talent. Because even though this chick, who we have no idea who she is, comes on the scene and wants to put something out there on this little black boy who is celebrating graduating from middle school and has aspirations to go to college and is excited about his new preparatory high school that he's going on, all his extracurricular activities, you didn't have to air it. You cut a lot of things out. You could have cut this out. The show is interesting enough without this. And even if it wasn't, you still didn't have to show it. I'm at the point where people, all the people, the talent, don't say that. Producers and editors and executives don't show it. We need to get to a point where we are all being accountable and we are all being our brother's keepers. Yes, reality TV is for a good kiki and all this stuff, but we need to start having our own alliances and looking out for each other. Because you know how it played out with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when Bronwyn allegedly had offered Shannon Beador's 14-year-old daughter some nose candy? We never saw that, did we? Did that play out? They talked about it very, very briefly on a reunion. And the only reason why it came out on the reunion was because Shannon thought that she was so privileged and was completely delusional. She wasn't thinking about her daughter. The only reason why it came out was because Shannon said it to malign Bronwyn because she didn't like the fact that Bronwyn called her boyfriend a drunk or an alcoholic or something like that. So if it wasn't Shannon's mad about her boyfriend allegedly drinking too much, she never would have said anything about it. Bravo didn't say anything about it. The executives didn't say anything about it. The only reason why it came out was because Shannon didn't understand the social implications of it. But yet on OWN, we're going to go out here and put on this little black boy who's like 13 or 14. Gorgeous little boy, intelligent little boy, sweetheart of a boy. You can tell Monster is a sweetheart. And you're going to put that out there on him when his future is literally just beginning? I know I'm on my soapbox. I've been talking about this for a bit, but I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. We have to start protecting each other. And when I say this is no shade to anybody who's not black that is watching. If you're not black and you watch me, I love you too. I'm not a racist by any means. But what I'm saying is this. We, black and brown people, need to start protecting each other the way other races protect each other. And I'm not saying that we don't, because I'm not that type of person. I'm not someone who's like, in the black community, to speak for all black women. No, I'm not that person either. But what I'm saying is we need to come together and just protect each other more and think about the bigger picture. And I know that Tiffany does not represent all black women. I am not saying that. Tiffany is just a woman who did a really shitty thing. But I think when we step back and look at things from a bigger perspective, if you see the shows like the Beverly Hills, Rinna protects Erica, protects Dorit. The only reason why we're talking about Tom Girardi alleged allegations is because it's out in the media. And they had no choice but to do it. But they don't talk about Mauricio's lawsuits or Dorit and PK's tax lawsuits and all that stuff. And you know why? Because the girls don't talk about it. The reason why on Potomac, the whole thing blew up with raised taxes was because the girls kept talking about it. If Giselle would have shut up, if Robyn would have shut up, if Ashley would have shut up, it would not have been a storyline. See? Yes, production says that they don't protect, but production can only edit and show what you give them. There are certain franchises that when it comes to certain things, and we're going to talk about this, I think on Thursday, I want to do an episode on all of like the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and how the three of them, Erica, Dorit, and Rinna, all have massive legal ish going down right now. And and I had my conspiracy theory that I thought that they were in an alliance, and we're going to talk about that on Thursday. But the franchises with the people who are actually doing the biggest dirt, who are running the biggest schemes, have been protected this long because they protected each other. There are certain things that they don't talk about. Rinna, for example, on Beverly Hills, they don't talk about Harry Hamlin because Rinna made it very clear that he was off limits, right? And they honored that. So certain franchises need to start taking cues from other franchises and being like, these are the things that are off the table. These are the things that are on the table. And we may have this beef or feud, but we're still going to protect each other in these X, Y, and Z ways. Because yes, Bravo, NBC, OWN executives may protect certain people at certain times, but the actual nexus of it is that these women protect each other with certain things. And to me, it is this very, very disgusting and very, very tone deaf that they would allow anyone to go on this platform and say such a life-altering, defamatory thing about a young child. And I actually think it goes back into, I'm going to get off my soapbox on this in a little bit, but I just thought about it. Even Maurice was not considering this boy a child. He's only 13 or 14, just got out of 8th grade, 15 at the absolute most, but I think he's like 13 or 14, right? Just got out of 8th grade. He is a child. Maurice was even saying he needs to put childish things away and asking about work, and all this stuff. So if your own father doesn't see you through the lens to protect you as a child, imagine how society sees you. It's like Black children don't have the luxury of being children. Because at the end of the day, it was the adult's responsibility to protect that child. If that was a rumor about a 13 or 14-year-old white girl on Dallas, Beverly Hills, OC, New York, you better be damned, everybody would have been protecting that child because they viewed them as children. We got to start viewing our little boys and girls as children, and we need to start protecting them as children, and we need to start holding the adults who do them harm accountable. I'm all the way pissed off now. I'm all the way pissed off thinking about this. I'm sorry, you guys. I know this is supposed to be a good kiki, but I'm all the way pissed off thinking about this. Monster is such a cute, sweet boy. He's a boy. He's 13. He's 14. He was shooting hoops, hanging out. And they let this woman come on this show and speak this over him. I'm pissed. All right, we got to move on because I'm pissed. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat box because I'm making myself mad over here. As Colin says, 100. Hey, Valdez Sarantino is giving some candy cane and some love. Can I get a witness? Says 100. Speak on the truth. Yes. Can I get a witness? Says right, especially on reality TV. P says they need to talk about Robyn's tax issues. Protect Robyn at all costs. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. P says, yes, production can't manipulate the footage with their editors. Producers have and can force an issue. Yeah, that's true. Hey, Joanna Morris, she goes, that's going to make Destiny and Kimmy bond and turn on Melody. Damn. Well, are they going to hold Melody accountable for what Tiffany said? Or does Melody not hold Tiffany accountable for what she said? Because that's another thing. Melody needs to get in Tiffany's ass for that. Because she brought this woman to the show. And for her to sit up there and say that about Kimmy's stepchild, about Maurice's son, disgusting. Disgusting. This was a 13 or 14-year-old boy. And we already know that they use vaping and marijuana as a modern day way to implement slavery. People are still going to jail longer for some weed than they are for white collar crimes. White collar. No, I don't mean white people crime. I mean white collar crimes like tax evasion or fraud or whatever. You could steal millions and millions and millions of dollars in some Ponzi scheme and get less time for certain people who look a certain way selling some weed. And that is how our judicial system is set up. So putting that on a little black boy is a very, very big deal. Hey, Young Rich, she goes, yes, he's playing a part. He's talking about Monster needing to work and we don't have a successful business in place. Another Monster hit the blunt. I would too. Can I get a witness? Smiled and yes. Hey, Natalia. She goes, hi, Candy. Love it. Love you too. Hey, Mellow Drew. He goes, on New Jersey, they called Gia a C head. Okay. On New Jersey, they didn't call Gia a C head. What happened was Teresa had clearly made up this lie about Jackie's husband. Jackie came guns blazing because Teresa wouldn't admit it and used the analogy of, it is like you making up this rumor about my husband is like me making up a rumor about your child. And it was always very clear that it was an analogy. She wasn't actually saying Gia did this. And also everyone got up in arms about it. And it was very, very clear that she was doing an analogy, not that she actually saw this or did this. So it was very different. Tiffany came on the scene. And the way she said it was just like, oh, like, well, wasn't Monster the one that got caught doing the vape and the blah, 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 blah? She stated it as if it were a fact, as if she was spilling some tea about this little child. So it was very, very different. And they also all got up in arms about that. And also, I think that production thought that we would all hate Jackie for that and all that stuff. And it was an analogy. And it was very, very clear that it was an analogy. So I get what you're saying. Yes, every franchise has had messy moments, of course. But I'm saying overall trends and themes, right? Certain franchises protect each other on a different level than other franchises do. So I want those franchises that don't protect each other to start. Yes, it's a reality TV show, but it's also a job and it's coworkers, and you should have these alliances. Other people do. Start protecting each other, and production and editing and the executives will fall suit. Again, they cannot edit something that doesn't exist. So if you get together and you're going to say, we're going to make great TV, but my kids are off. This is off. This, whatever it is. And you guys all honor that. You can still have a great show without doing that to each other and each other's children and family. Because it is clear as day which shows get exploited and which shows don't. Clear as day. Miss T goes, it was an analogy. Veronica goes, absolutely, Candy. Yes, yes, yes. Miss T says, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Yes, like this video. Let's get it up. Let's get over 100 likes, guys. Let's get them up, give it up. Hey, Venetia Hope. She goes, you are so correct, Candy. As a former teacher, we always have to advocate for children. Monster did not deserve that. He didn't. He didn't at all. Monster did not deserve that. And that is something that could unfortunately follow him for a very long time. For a very long time. In the world that we live in, let's just be 100% honest, saying a 13-year-old black boy is vaping in a bathroom has more consequences than it does calling a 20-year-old woman in college saying that she did nose candy. Gia is an adult. Gia chooses to participate on that show as an adult. Monster is still a child. So those are two very different things. Very different things. Gia may be Teresa's daughter, but Gia is still a 20-year-old participating on the show, and I'm sure Gia gets some form of paycheck. Monster is a 13-year-old minor child. So two different things. Let's see. Hey, Jaja. She goes, it's already previewed that Mel and Destiny are going to have a fallout over something. I bet you it's this. It must be this. I can't think of anything else because I'm sorry. What, Tiffany? Mel, please, because I like you, Mel. I like you so much, Mel. I like you. But if you don't check your girl for this, I'm going to have to jump the Mel boat because this to me is disgusting. Disgusting. Hey, Natalia. She goes, what Jackie did was wrong. You don't bring kids. See, but that's the thing. I understand that we view Gia as a child, but the truth is Gia is just Teresa's child. She's actually 20 in her 20s now, I think. And she's off in college. Miss T says Teresa was deflecting. Yeah, she was. Hey, Jaja. Jackie was trying to create a scenario where Tree could relate to the hurtfulness, but poor Teresa just didn't get it. Exactly. It was an analogy. She was saying, you doing this to me is like me doing this to you. She was trying to illustrate a point to Teresa as to the way in which she was hurting her. And as Jackie said, Teresa doesn't have anyone in her life where it would hurt the way it would hurt if your husband had done this. So she used her child. But she used Gia, who is technically an adult. And it was an analogy, and it was very clear that it was an analogy. Like, she wasn't actually saying that Gia did this. Hey, Venetia Hope. She goes, I guess everyone simply didn't understand the analogy. I got it immediately. I got it too. And I think the majority of people got it. Maybe Teresa was just, maybe the analogy hit a little too close to home, and she got mad about that. I don't know. Natalia goes, allegedly. Exactly. Oh, is Jennifer's having issues with the cast, allegedly? Yeah, I saw that. They're trying to ice her out too. Hey, Venetia. She goes, yeah, I hope if Melody told Tiffany that, I sure hope not, but how else would she know it was Mel or production? So you're saying that Mel was the one who spilled the beans to Tiffany, and then Tiffany was the one who put it on blast? This is going to be a good season. But then I'm also kind of feeling icky, though, because now it's going to be a storyline about this little boy. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be juicy, but now it's going to be the storyline. Of course, will be the demise of Melody and Destiny and Kimmy and all that stuff. But the storyline at its core is going to be about this little boy. And to me, that's really sad. Hey, Miss T, they definitely treat some franchises differently. Yes, they do. Yeah, Young Rook said, Melody would never. I really hope not, because I really like Melody. I really, really hope not. Natalia says, Roa is filming in October. Wow, they are really serious about getting this show. No one. I know. I guess so. I mean, I guess. Miss T says all statements are alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Exactly. This is all alleged. Just having a good kiki. Just my opinion. Let's see. Hey, beautiful Jaja. She goes, what do you think about Melody joining Roa? I wouldn't want Melody to join Roa. I want Melody to have her own spinoff where it's like Melody and like maybe like a different city. She could be in Atlanta, but not Huntsville. And it's her going into like this new phase of life, a show that we don't really have, right? A woman who is in her 40s, I think, right? Beautiful, successful, going like, you know, doing the thing, looking for love, building her success, and she has her girl gang with her. Like, I would want to see that show. I don't need Melody on Roa. No, because again, I want Real Housewives to go back to being about the Real Housewives. And Melody right now isn't a housewife. She's divorced with crazy Martell. So to me, I would rather see a show. I like Melody on TV and I like Melody, but I want to see her in a show. I would want to see Melody and like a Marlo, like that vibe, like badass bitches who are just out here doing the damn thing. That is what I would love to see. I want to see them go shopping. I want to see them do lunch. I want to see them go on trips. I want to see them date. I want to see them, their businesses, you know, fail and succeed. You know what I mean? Like I would want to see that. I don't need Melody on Roa though. Let's see what you guys are saying. Hey Venetia, she goes, yeah, yes, I think it was production. Love Mel. I hope so, because I love Melody too. I hope. Fingers crossed. Hey Miss T, Tiffany said that her songs that her sons goes to the same school, and that is how she found out. Yeah, but she shouldn't have said that out loud. Miss T says Carlos King would never let Melody go to Roa. Exactly. Hey Kimberly Henderson, because I honestly don't find Melody interesting enough to watch a show just about her. I'd rather see Maurice and Kimmy. I wouldn't mind seeing Melody on a show with other women. It would have to be an ensemble cast. Agreed. Maurice and Kimmy, again, I don't know. Do you guys agree or not? I just think that they're too contrived now. Like I see the work now. Like I don't believe that their conversations are off the cuff. I don't believe that they didn't predetermine what they were going to say to each other and all of these things, and that their storylines aren't very, very contrived. I just don't believe that. Mow the lawn, get the lawn out. And Maurice, he's just like, we need to, oh Lord, we need to put away childish things as the sun cometh up. It's just like, I'm confused. Like, Maurice, are you on like Who Wants to Be the Next TD Jakes? Like, I'm confused. Does anybody else get that vibe, or is it just me? Let me know. Kimberly says it's all contrived. Yeah. Miss T says, I don't think any of it's reality. Yeah, I agree. Can I get a witness? Melody seems to enjoy being a headliner. Don't see a Roa. Yeah. Young Rich says Maurice and Kimmy on a spinoff. Child, I'd rather take sleeping pills. Yeah, I don't see Maurice and Kimmy doing a spinoff with themselves. I don't think so. Crazy. What else? Did we miss anything? I like Destiny. I think Destiny has been over her husband divorce for a minute, and she's just like, whatever, I'm ready to do the damn thing. I do like Destiny. Let me say that. Da-da-da. All right, you guys, we have been in here for over an hour and a half. Smash that like button, hit the notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and share. So as we wrap up, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat box. Hey, beautiful Jaja. She goes, Roa has ran its course. Agreed. Like Beverly Hills and the OC. Agreed. Been on too long. Agreed. Producers need to get into these YouTube streets and televise. Agreed. I want to be like Fallon. I was just on YouTube posting philanthropic videos on self-care, and the producers just found me. They stumbled upon me. Speaking of Fallon, you guys, okay, did you see her Instagram post, her clap back at Michelle A.T. Elian, I think it is, and she said how, and this, see Fallon, You should have listened to the last interview I did about you. Didn't I tell you to stop talking about this? Because the more you talk, the more you expose. Okay. I'm paraphrasing what she said. You guys have to go back and see it. I'm paraphrasing what she said. She's trying to clap back. I think it's Michelle Ep3, I think it is. So she was trying to clap back at her. And she was like, I am not 8 to 9 months pregnant. I am not big and swole or something like that. And then she went on, don't talk about another woman's womb. You never said you weren't pregnant. You said you weren't 8 or 9 months pregnant. Are you 4 or 5 months? 6 to 7? 7 to 8? You never said you weren't pregnant. So to me, I don't think you need to address these rumors. You don't. You don't need to address them. I thought you wanted to be kumbaya with your skincare line and your acting gigs and public speaking and your celebrity bae. Like, I thought that's what you wanted to do, Fallon. You should have said nothing. But the fact that you're now clapping back makes you look even more suspect because you didn't deny the pregnancy. If you're going to clap back at a rumor, you need to dispel the actual rumor. Now I'm just thinking you're 6 months pregnant. But I also want to say, isn't it so obvious that Michelle Ep3's source is Nene? Like, wasn't that just like the biggest, like, of course it's Nene? Because Michelle Ep3 and Nene, as we've all seen, are really, really good friends. Really good friends. Like, they hang out all the time. She went to like the Lanithia Lounge opening. Like, they're friends. And then it came out that Fallon is staying in Sugarloaf. Where did she get that money from? We all know that Simon isn't giving her any more money, allegedly. Now we know she doesn't have her own money. She said it herself because her credit was so bad she couldn't get her own apartment. So it must be Celebrity Bae foot in the bill. In Sugarloaf, where Portia, Dennis, maybe Dennis, maybe not, but like Portia and Nene and all these people live, it's like the same like gated community, right? And we all know that Nene uses that terminology, big, and she's like, I'm not big, and it was like big and not big and swole, but it was like big and something. That is exactly the same language that Nene used to describe Kandi when she was pregnant, to describe Kenya when she was pregnant, to describe Portia when she was pregnant. Oh, you all so big and this and me and me. Like, that is how Nene talks. And that's how she has described at least 3 other pregnant women. Not in derogatory. I'm not saying she was calling them big in a derogatory way. No, I think she was just like, oh, look at you big, oh, this, big, oh, you know what I mean? That's how Nene talks. And that's how she has described those women when they were pregnant. And we all know that Michelle Ep3 and Nene are friends. And Fallon lives in Nene's complex, or not complex, but gated community. So, of course, the source is Nene, right? Allegedly, my opinion, my deductive skills. I wish Michelle just said that, like, oh, well, I guess maybe she can't. I don't know. How does that work? Like, I always cite my sources, but I guess if she's like, I'm not a journalist or a blogger. I'm just a person who's just reacting to things. So I always cite my sources, but I guess maybe she wants to keep her sources secret so they stay a source, I guess. I don't know. But to me, I thought it was obvious that it was Nene who was saying this about Fallon. And what else? And I thought Fallon just was making herself look crazier and crazier by even responding to it. Fallon, I already told you, your contract is up. Go live your best life. Stay out of this mess. Like, she had come out so good. After the Up and Adam thing, and then she took the high road, and she was just talking about love and light. She was looking out so good. But now with all of these weird things coming out, it's just looking, it took a left. It just totally took a left. Fox Cotton says, well, she showed her belly slightly on her IG. She looks like she may be 5 or 6 months. Check it out. See? Because she said, I'm not 8 or 9. You didn't say you weren't pregnant. And 5 or 6 months tracks with the whole her being honest about the celebrity guy that she was dating. And again, their timeline made no sense. So were you in couples therapy with Simon while Simon was out of the house for 2 months with Portia, and you were with the celebrity bae? You were still in couples therapy during that time? She said that they were in couples therapy up until April, but he was engaged to Portia in April. Or when is Mother's Day? I don't know. See, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. But it's just a whole lot of mess. But you guys have been great. Miss T says I think she wants to keep her sources anonymous. Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like newspapers and journalists, they always keep their sources anonymous. So that's true. Me, I'm just like, I heard it on here. Like this is who told me. Maybe that's why I'm not a journalist. Let's see. Can I get it when it says, oh, okay. Miss T said, why would she want to live in that community? Why, Fallon? Why? I know. Okay, Veronica's Mother's Day is in May. Yeah. So you guys were in couples therapy in April, and then in May, he was engaged to Portia. And now it's July, and you're 4, 5, 6 months pregnant, allegedly. So you got pregnant in January, February. It's too much. It is too much, y'all. It is too much. Okay, you guys, we have been on here for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Smash that like, subscribe to the video, hit the notification bell. Miss T says, side-eye Fallon, me too. Girl, I'm side-eyeing you all day long. Did we miss anything? Or did we cover all the stuff from Rohop and Love and Marriage Huntsville? Put it in the chat box. Did we miss anything? Or did we get to all the tea? Did we get to all of the tea? And that's right. Okay, I got to witness. Oh, thank you guys at Candy. Great review and commentary. Good night. Oh, thank you. Mwah. Good night, sweetheart. Yeah, so I think it's Thursday. But hit that notification bell so you get notified when we go live, and check my channel. But I believe on Thursday, I want to do a deep dive into, hey, Veronica, she's at Candy says, you have the juice tea. Yes, I do. Hey, Foxy Counselor. Hey, Brenda. She goes, hi, Candy Cane. Yes. Brenda says, happy new week. Happy new week. Happy Monday. Yes, 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 yes. He says, what do I think about the baby rant? Was that from the baby rant? I got to check that out. Michelle Williams goes, let me go rewatch. Yes, go rewatch with a squint, right? But I think it's on Thursday. I'm going to try and do a live in between then. So hit the notification bell and subscribe so you know when we're going live. But I want to do a deep dive on the Beverly Hills mess. Lisa Rinna legal, Dorit's legals, and Erica's legals, because I want to make sure that we cover. And you know what? Let's throw in Jen Shaw. Throw in Jen Shaw too. We talk about, everybody else's legal problems and allegedlyness. So let's, turnabout's fair trade. Let's get them all out. Let's do it all out. And then in between there, I'll figure out a live for us to do. Maybe we could do a recap of something, but we'll do it. Or a self-care session. So you guys, Young Rich is the rapper. He said some homophobic remarks. Oh, well, that's really unfortunate. I don't like that. Hey, Venetia Hope, have a fabulous week, everyone. Yes, have a fabulous week. Miss He says, please, Erica and Jen. Yes. Okay, so we can do Jen. So we'll do Erica, Jen, Dorit, and Rinna. And we're gonna run through them and all of their legal problems and what's going on with them. And we will do a deep dive. I believe that's on Thursday, you guys. Okay. I love you guys. Shout out to my mods. You did a fabulous job. I appreciate you, and I thank you so much for your time. I love you guys. And thanks you to all of my beautiful candy canes on this Monday, spending this time with me. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. I love you. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I hope you had fun. I hope you had a good kiki. And I will see you guys next time. I love you. Mwah. Bye.